Hello, my name is Keith Moore, candidate for Norwood Law Director. I want to thank you for tuning in to NCT's candidate forums. I know all the candidates appreciate you tuning in, and we love the opportunity we get to shoot our mouths off for a while. So I'd like to, before I forget, I want to thank Steve and Tyler and everybody else at NCT for doing this every 2 years so the candidates can do this. And of course, for filming the city council meetings and planning commission and school board, the sporting events. It's great. So whatever we can do for them is a fantastic idea. Again, my name is Keith Moore. I'm a candidate for Norwood Law Director. I live on Carter Avenue with my wife Lisa and my boys Eli and Nathan. Let me see, I graduated from Indiana University with a degree in political science. I got my law degree from the University of Cincinnati. I've been a licensed Ohio attorney since 1993. I moved to Norwood in '98. And I managed to run into some people that said, you know, maybe you should run for council. And I thought, I don't know anything about it, but maybe I'll meet some people. So I filed as a candidate for council. And I'll tell you what happened. Well, what happened is I got creamed. I got crushed in the election, which is not a surprise. But what really happened is I just got involved. And I've never really been one to get involved, but I got involved. I moved to Norwood. I got involved. And I saw something, or my wife found something, it was probably 6-7 months ago, and I thought it was a great quote. It's knowledge plus ability equals responsibility. And I've added that to I got a little thing hanging in my office from Dr. Seuss. It's unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing ever gets better. No, I totally messed it up. But that's the idea. That's the basic idea. And so I ran for office, and one of the things we did is we started the Neighbor to Neighbor news show. And that was an opportunity to report on what's going on in Norwood. I wrote the news segments, I co-produced it, I hosted a few episodes, had some guests on, did some debates, things like that. A little after that I got elected to council, ran again and got elected. And the TV thing continued. We did a couple of live call-in shows to keep people informed, so you could call in I did one with the mayor and one with another council member. So you could call in and ask questions, and so you could watch us sweat while we tried to figure out good answers. I helped found the West Norwood Neighborhood Association. Actually, there's a couple other candidates on the ballot this election that were a part of that group that helped found it. One was Lynn Ellis, who's running in Ward 1, and the other was Marilyn Hanrahan, who's running in Ward 2. And it was really, we're going to do something. We're trying to fix this. There's something's got to happen with the fun factory and with the housing and problems here in West Norwood. Let's get some focus on that. I'm trying to think. There's on council, I like to think I got a lot done. If you've seen one of these, and we've had them on most of the porches in Norwood anyway, it lists some of the highlights of my involvement. But basically, I moved to Norwood and decided, you know, it's up to me. I got to jump in and do something. This is my community. What can I do to make it a better place? And I left council a little while ago, and since then, I've had some time. I've coaching Eli's soccer team, my youngest soccer team, and the Passers and Super Starters, and that's a lot of fun. I was appointed to the zoning board and the planning commission, so I've spent some time on those. And I was asked to join the board of directors of Woven Oak, and that's a group in West Norwood that is, they want to be a catalyst for positive changes in Norwood. And kind of some of the things that they've put together have come out of that have been the garden camp that's over there, the rugby team, and there's some other things going on that they're working on, they have moving forward. And but now I'm running for law director, and here's what I found out about running for law director versus running for council. When you run for council, and he goes, hi, I'm running for council, the first question, the number one question you get is, when are you going to fix the streets? Law director is different. The number one question I've got, hi, my name's Keith Moore, I'm running for law director here in Norwood. The number one question I've gotten is, what's that? And so I figured I should probably address that. The law director is the city's attorney, kind of the attorney general of Norwood. There's 3 people in the law department. One is the law director, and that's the elected position. That's the one I'm running for. That's a part-time job, just like all of the elected positions in Norwood, in theory, are part-time. That's the auditor and treasurer and council. The mayor, of course, Mayor Williams is anything but part-time. It's hard to get him out of City Hall, and we should all be thankful for that because it's amazing the amount of things he's gotten done. So you have the part-time, the law department, you have the law directors, the elected. You have a full-time assistant law director. That's an attorney who's there full-time. And then there's a secretary. And what the law department does, what the law director is in charge of, is prosecuting violations of Norwood law. So there's traffic, lots of traffic cases. It's misdemeanor crimes like simple possession of marijuana or drunk and disorderly, things like that. The law department writes the ordinances. Most of them, actually, the law department writes. Some of them come from other places. At least the basic text comes from some federal agency or a grant-giving organization. When I was on council, I wrote a number of ordinances. But even with that, they all go through the law department to make sure that they're in proper form, that they don't conflict with something else, and that they're not unconstitutional, that kind of thing. And I just wanted to make a mention about something I saw on a postcard from my opponent that said he amended the zoning code, and I have a problem with that, and I'll tell you why. The law department doesn't amend the code. The law department doesn't pass laws, it doesn't determine the budget, it doesn't outsource, it doesn't, none of those kinds of things. The law department is the city's lawyer. It doesn't make policy. It can try to persuade on policy. It doesn't make policy. Only council can amend a Norwood ordinance. And so it's just something I had a real problem with, and I just wanted to point that out, that the law department does not amend the zoning code. So the law department prosecutes, it writes ordinances, it represents the city when the city's suing somebody or being sued by somebody. It offers legal advice to the various departments and heads and boards and commissions in the city. So the planning commission or the civil service commission or the mayor or whoever it is comes forward and says, hey, we want to know what's the right legal option to take here, or I would like to do this. Well, that works, and a lot of firms say no, it's blatantly illegal. Or it may say, you know, that won't work, but there may be a legal option to get through to that, to get to that same result. And the kind of the other big one is the law department advises the city, is involved in negotiations and contract review. So that can be everything from copier contracts, the law department should look at them all, to the huge redevelopment agreements. And of course, on council, when I was in the Community Development Committee on council, I was involved in helping to negotiate and looking at the terms of the redevelopment agreements of places like Rookwood and Linden Point, the Xavier expansion, that kind of thing. So that's kind of what the law department does. So let's so the next question. The first question is, what's the law department I get? The second one is, I thought you were on council. Why you want to run for law director? Well, I left council because, quite honestly, I was burnt out. The last several years, pretty much all I'd been able to do, all I had time to do, all I had the mental capacity to do was try to keep the doors open after the Great Recession and the huge cuts we got from the state. The state just cut our legs out from under us. And I was just burnt out. I just needed to take a break from it. So I've had time to coach soccer and Woven Oak and Planning Commission and Zoning Board. But the other reason I'm running for law director, not council, but law director, is because I think Norwood's law department should be independent. The law director should be independent as opposed to a wholly owned subsidiary of the Hamilton County prosecutor. And that may not make any sense, but let me take a step back and try. I've worked with a whole bunch of different law directors. And I think starting with, I think it was Rick Gibson, was the law director. He was a prosecutor, Hamilton County prosecutor, and apparently a very, very good one. When he ran for re-election and he won, and then he left, and he left office, and they had to appoint a new law director. So they appointed, the Republican Party appointed his replacement, appointed the then assistant law director. So assistant law director goes from part or full-time job with benefits to the part-time elected position. So he's got to find a full-time job. You got to pay the bills. You got to have coverage for your family. So they get him a job down at the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office. Okay. Well, he ran for re-election. He was re-elected, ran for election and won. And right after he was re-elected, he said, I'm moving, so I can't be law director anymore. Again, maybe that's something the voters should know before November when they vote. But regardless, they appointed, so they had to find a new assistant law director. And what they brought, they got somebody from the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office and appointed him law director. Now, that gentleman was recently, earlier this year, there was an opening in one of the judge seats here in Hamilton County, and they appointed Norwood's law director to be the new judge. So they need a new law director. So the Republican Party appoints the assistant law director to be Norwood's law director. So again, go from full-time job with benefits to part-time job. Got to get a full-time job. You'll never guess what happened. They found a job, gave him a job at the Hamilton County Prosecutor's Office. Now, I don't know, it may just be me. It's quite possible it's just me, but that just, there's something wrong about that. I don't like that cycle, this continuing rollover. I think Norwood's law department, law director, should be independent. And that's what I decided to run. I wanted to offer an alternative, something a little bit different. I think it's pretty clear that I can be pretty independent for my career on council. I've pretty much managed to make everybody mad at me at one time or another, simply by trying to do what I thought was the right thing. But that we reached the next question. So what does Keith Moore bring to the table when it comes to the Norwood Law Director's Office? Well, as I said, I've been a licensed Ohio attorney since 1993. I have practiced in the areas of criminal defense and criminal prosecution. I've done mayor's court prosecutions, and so I've done all the kinds of cases that you would do in Norwood's mayor's court. I've been involved in, I've practiced in real estate and landlord-tenant, employment discrimination. I currently work for LexisNexis, which is a huge international provider of legal material, and I'm a legal editor. I'm an author for them, and kind of my subject areas include, relevant areas anyway, include state and local government law and constitutional law, legislation, statutory interpretation, civil procedure, evidence, those kinds of things. I've drafted ordinances in the past, so I've got a pretty good handle on that. I have been involved in development negotiations and contract review. And I've been, as being on the Planning Commission and the Zoning Board and on council, I've been a client of the law director, so I think I bring a different perspective there. But I think most important, what I will bring, I didn't want to one other thing. I think the most important thing is that I bring in an ability and experience and a dedication to the good of Norwood. What is it that is going to be in Norwood's best interest? A need to step up, not just show up for when council meetings, when the cameras are on at council meetings, not just show up to serve, my party, but the ability to work with people across the aisle in every position to find what's the best interest in Norwood. It's dedication, to put in the time, to put in the effort, to find what's best for Norwood. And I would say that that's true for every election in Norwood. That, I think, is what you should be looking for. Who is the person that can deliver, that has the skills? And second, more importantly, who's the one that's going to show up? Who's the one that's going to put in the time and the effort? I mean, I look at council now, and I haven't seen anything the last year and a half. I haven't seen anything come out of them. It's just the saddest thing. We got a new majority, and there's nothing. There's no committee meetings. There's no conversations. There's a lot of great things going on in Norwood. It's all coming from the mayor. It's all coming from Mayor Williams. And we've got people that have got energy and drive and passion. Yeah, you got Tammy Stickley, and you've got James Bonds. They're out there working like crazy. It's fantastic. You've got Cindy Tincher, who spent years and years and years working for the children of the city. And you've got Lynn Ellis and Marilyn Hanrahan, who have stepped up time and time again on their own as private citizens to find solutions, to make improvements, to make this a better city. And those are the people you want on council. And I'd say the same for the mayor. I've never met anybody more dedicated and more willing to put in time and effort. But my time is running out here, and I could go on and on about council, and you're probably sick of hearing me talk anyway. So let me say this. The choice is yours. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you will support me. I hope you'll choose more for Norwood on November 3rd. I hope you vote for me, but regardless, I hope you vote. Because the last thing you want to do is leave it up to somebody else. So what I can offer is independence, integrity, dedication, as my record shows. So again, thank you for watching, and don't forget to vote on November 3rd.